Hola everyone, Eugene here. Hope you're all doing good, great, flowing, going, moving. Yeah, I hope all the good stuff for you guys. But today we're gonna do a video, top 10 tobacco perfumes. I've got a little bit more than 10 here, quite a bit more. So 10 is like randomly, but we'll show more. And I've got some that I don't like, and I'll talk about those. I think it's important to talk about the tobaccos that we don't like as well, not just share the ones that we love. But you know, it's a long journey, and our tastes change and our opinions, you know, our beliefs change as well. So I'll share some of the ones that I'm not crazy about anymore. I don't have all the tobaccos, you know, there's so many tobaccos out there, and it's tough to keep up. So I'll share the ones that I own in my collection, the ones that I wear personally, and the ones that I enjoy. And hopefully you guys will share the ones that you love as well in the comments below. So yeah, let's get acquainted and talk about tobacco perfumes, and in no particular orders, but I will save the ones that I like more towards the end. But let's start with this, and this is one that I don't wear very often. And this is, you know, this was one of the very first tobaccos. Not the first, but one of the first in this sweet category, this sweet cherry pipe tobacco. I've had this for about 10 years, and when I got it, it was great. I loved it. I didn't wear all of that. I got this in the trade, and the original owner had cut off the sprayer because they can be tough to spray. It was never a problem for me, but this person thought it was a little bit challenging, so they decided to mutate the bottle. I'm not a fan of mutating the bottle, to be honest. I think it was a really beautiful packaging to begin with, but yeah, I think the packaging is still absolutely wonderful. I love this, you know, kind of the color of the juice in there. It does look tobacco golden brown. It reflects the big tobacco leaf, and yeah, packaging is great. The fragrance for me is just become too sweet over there. It's not that it's become too sweet, but there's so many other tobaccos that have come out after it, leaving this much sweeter than those ones. So I don't really wear this. Even though this is big, this is a huge tobacco, you know, sweet, honeyed, spicy, fruity tobacco, big amber in the base, patchouli. It's got a lot of the Amen DNA in here, so if you love that kind of a big golden starchy sweet saccharin thing, you know, tarry. Amen was tar. This has definitely still got that tar in there, but it has the big pipe tobacco, the sweet pipe tobacco, honey. Yeah, pipe tobacco rolled in honey. There's some fruity notes in here, cinnamon, spice. But I've kind of grown out of love of this, but you know, I still have it. I still own it. It's good to have. It is one of the originals that have, I think, a lot of others have taken from, possibly Guerlain's honey tobacco, and what's the other one? The Zerjaf, whatever it's called. Some other tobaccos. Okay, these aren't all going to be sweet tobaccos. Some of these are going to be, you know, more refined tobaccos, like Cristalle's tobacco. This is a drier tobacco, which isn't necessarily pipe tobacco, but this is very warm and earthy. This is oak moss and vetiver and tobacco. It's very dry, even though this is marketed towards women. You know, this is not very feminine. Oh, it's got that big melon in there. Yeah, I mean, Cristalle, you can't miss with Cristalle or Chanel, but this is more the drier type tobacco, the earthy tobacco. It's not sweet. It's not like going into, you know, the bar and sitting in a leather chair smoking a big sweet tobacco. This is much drier. This is like freshly picked tobacco, I feel. Green tobacco. Almost. Okay, I've got a couple of these in here. Almost like this. Versace's The Dreamer. When's the last time you you wore the Dreamer. I've not worn it forever, but, and the reason being, it's well, first of all, it's a great fragrance. It's a little bit too synthetic though, for my, I mean, there's something in there that pine synthetic and just hits me. But this is a nice tobacco. I do like the tobacco in here. This is also very green and earthy and smoky and ashy, quite floral. I don't wear this, but I do own this, and this is considered a tobacco. And there's one more, there's a couple more tobaccos in that vein, and I would say it's this one, Guerlain's Vetiver. So this is Vetiver and tobacco, but this is harsh tobacco, bitter and green, more bitter and green than what is in Cristalle and the Dreamer. And this, you know, I love Vetiver. I'm still challenged by wearing it though, because of that tobacco note, how bitter and green and harsh it is. But I love this perfume. There's just moments where I'm like, oh man, this I wish is not on me right now. I wish I was in anything else. And I still feel that I am not up to age for this. I feel like this still ages me 10 years whenever I wear it. But this is absolutely glorious. I love smelling it on other people. I have smelled it on other people in the wild, on businessmen. It's citrusy, it's fresh, it's extremely woody. You know, it's like cedar, vetiver, tobacco. It's spices and just green, like green cutting grass, green cutting spice, green cutting wood, and bitter green tobacco. This is probably the most bitter tobacco that I've come across. This is not ready to be smoked yet. Polo might be another one like that. Polo is another classic tobacco. This is one of my favorite perfumes ever. This is this is I gotta put some of this on. Okay, give me a second. How am I gonna do this? Because I've got stuff everywhere. Woo! That was a lot. That was a lot. Okay. That was a lot, but it's never enough, is it? Again, extremely earthy. Like, there's no sweetness here. None of that, you know, that sugary sweetness. But very earthy tobacco. Like, just rooted from the ground. This is straight from the ground. It's green and harsh and bitter. But beautiful, absolutely beautiful, the way it's mixed with that leather and castoreum and patchouli. It doesn't smell like you've just smoked a cigar or you've just smoked a cigarette. This to me is just like you have picked a fresh green tobacco leaf. I got no microfiber cloths. Damn it, how can I do a video without a microfiber? I'll have to use my shirt. I hope you guys are doing good. What is that? I love the packaging though. I love the round edges, you know, the smooth edges. Look at that. It just, you know, the way it fits in there. It's so deep. Everything is just, there's not a sharp corner on here. I love it. It's so perfect. It might be like one of the most perfect bottles ever. Almost looks like Clive Christian took after this. Would you guys agree? I'm just kind of noticing it now. I don't even remember what the Clive Christian looks like, but I feel like a lot of it takes from this shape. What else? Thé Noir is like a bitter green tobacco. It's not a prominent tobacco, but there's tobacco in here. And it is, I think it's more along the lines of what I've shown you so far, like Vetiver, Dreamer, Cristalle, and the Gucci. So this is rose and tea tobacco. It's quite spicy and earthy and leathery. What else is it? It's bitter. This is bitter green. There's a time I couldn't stand this stuff, and even now, where I can appreciate, I'm still challenged in wearing it because of that. It's spicy, it's earthy. I mean, there's a lot of movement going on here. There's a lot of energy in this perfume, and sometimes it doesn't make sense to me, and sometimes it feels like it's attacking me from so many different angles. You know, there's no center to it, but it's interesting. It's interesting if you like sort of that bitter green, earthy sort of thing. Thé Noir. Okay, let's get into the more sweeter ones. And not that sweeter ones are my favorite. Here's another designer that I don't wear. This is Spicebomb, and this was kind of the king of tobacco and bubblegum. You know, this tobacco and bubblegum made a big splash in the designer world. Well, and then, you know, tobacco and then bubblegum, they separated somewhere down the line, but I don't wear this, to be honest. It's just a bit too much for me. It is. It's a great fragrance. Technically, it is really good. It's good and spicy. Got a lot of cinnamon. It's just too sweet. It's quite green as well. And this is an Olivier Polge. The perfumer now with Chanel did Spicebomb. You know what? I've always felt like this was Olivier's not response, but almost like a response. Let's call it a response to his dad's Egoist. You know, I see a lot of similarities. There might be some tobacco in Egoist, right? But I don't know. I just feel like they have some sort of connection to them, Spicebomb and Egoist. But it's a father-son combination. And again, I don't wear this a whole lot, and it's probably been years since I've worn it. I do like the flanker though. It is Spicebomb Extreme. I think it was the first flanker, and I'm not sure if that's an Olivier Polge, but I like that a little bit more. It's more smoky and tarry, and less sweet bubblegum. I've got Tonka and Perial here, and you know what? I wouldn't even consider this a big tobacco fragrance anymore. It might have some tobacco in here. You know, the texture from the lavender might accent that a little bit more, but I don't know why I have this here. I really don't see this as a big tobacco anymore. It's smoky, maybe a touch tobacco-ish, but not like in comparison to a lot of these others. It's not really as tobacco-ish. But this is quite tobacco-y. I'll save this for you. Oh, here's another one I don't like. I actually can't stand this stuff. This is Tobacolor. I really do not like this, and I didn't wear all that. I think I gave some of that away. For so many reasons, I really do not like this. I think it's one of the worst things in the Dior lineup, as far as as far as what? This, I never feel satisfied when I wear this. It just feels like a big slob. And so, you know, when it's feeding time for the pigs and you just grab a bunch of shit together and throw in the bucket and chuck it to the pigs and say, eat. This is what I feel like when I'm wearing this. It's like a bunch of mush. You know, yes, it is tobacco, but it's like so many other sweet and jammy notes, and they kind of overlap and clash, and they don't play well together. You know, it is obnoxious as all hell. It feels like I've woken up at 3 a.m. and I want a snack, and I've put together what I can find in the pantry, and it's like cheese and peanut butter and jam and a hot dog. I've boiled a hot dog and put that into that kind of sandwich, and maybe some Cheetos, and I don't know. I can't. Here's one that I do love, and this is Hermes Ambre Narguile, Jean-Claude Elena. This is sweet as well. You know, I don't despite all things that are sweet, but they have to make sense. The sweetness has to make sense. And this is hookah tobacco, or shisha, as some of you guys call it. Sweet, ambery, spicy, again, cinnamon. I don't know, cinnamon's often mixed with the tobaccos, isn't it? But it's got that apple pie going on. Smoky, warm. This stuff is gorgeous. Honeyed, fruity, plummy. Absolutely beautiful. I wear this quite a bit. Here is, I'm gonna say this is on a similar vibe. I think that all three of these are on a similar vibes. I would say Ambre Narguile, okay. Ambre Narguile, Grand Soir. This is a tobacco. This is definitely a tobacco. And I know so many of you guys do not like this. A lot of my friends do not like this, and I do not understand these friends for their actions. And I'm not sure if it's just MFK hate, Francis Courdion hate, or they just don't like it. I didn't like this the first time I wore it. I hated it. I thought it was awful and obnoxious and sweet and spicy. And then I wore it again the exact next day, and I loved it. I don't know what the hell happened, but I loved it. I just loved it. I love how that happens. I love how that works. And I love that I gave it the time to experience, you know. But this is really big and full and thick and ambery, and it is spicy, super spicy, and it is sweet. Spicy. I think there's a big coriander in there, and I love the spiciness. I love the thickness of this. It is super thick and rich and delirious. This is a fucking delirious perfume. You have to love tobacco and amber and resins and smoke and incense. I think it's glorious. I think it works beautifully. There's some lavender in here too to make it even more aromatic. Slightly boozy. This is kind of one of those boozy, you go into the bar, you light up a cigar, you sit in a leather chair type of things. It's very much like this one, Vanille Havane. This is, you know, this is probably the king of all tobacco for me. This is one of my favorite. I think this is my favorite. These are my favorites, to be honest. This is an Antoine Lee Les Indemodables Vanille Havane. What I love about this is the materials. Where this one shines is the materials, the quality, the natural materials, and the animalics too. I love the animalics in this. The leather, the labdanum, the churchiness. I love the sweetness of this. The raisin, the plum, the smoke, the tobacco is. This is a sweet tobacco, Vanille Havane. It's in the name, you know. A big cigar, a big smoky tobacco. And this is sweet. This is probably one of the sweetest tobaccos that I've come across, but it is blended to perfection, like absolutely perfect, you know. I love it. I love that raisin. The raisin in here is one of my favorite things in all of perfume, or something that feels like raisin. It could be some sort of prunal or whatever, but brilliant. Churchy. It goes super ambery and smoky and churchy in the base, you know, very incensey. Yeah, I've got Tabac. This is another Labo with tobacco. I did not love this at first. I actually hated it. This, I don't know why I bought this. This was a Miami City exclusive. I ended up getting this, and this came from Vancouver. I don't know how it got here. I've never been to Vancouver, but it was labeled in Vancouver. I guess it was shipped from Vancouver. But I did not enjoy this because, why didn't I enjoy this? I struggled. First of all, I struggled with it technically, the performance. It's one of those perfumes that are heavy, but they've got some sort of musks in here that make it disappear. It's not visible at all times, but I can feel it. I can feel it, but I can't necessarily smell it or decipher what the fuck I am actually smelling. And I don't know what they're using in here, but it took me a long time to actually learn this perfume and understand it. And when I did, my mind completely changed, and I enjoy the hell out of it. I'm actually wearing this today, and I've worn this last week a couple of times. And this is deep, but it doesn't necessarily go through all the transitions that most of these others go through. It is deep and complex, but it's very linear. I think I struggled a lot with that kind of linearity. So this is tobacco leaf, a very powerful tobacco leaf. This has got one of the best tobacco leaves in almost any of these perfumes, and it is amber, spicy golden brown amber, and cardamom. That's what I find mostly. Tobacco, cardamom, and amber, and leather. There's an oud note listed, but I am not really affected by that. It feels more like smoke and wood. Tabac, a Miami City exclusive. There might be a whiskey note in here. This to me is super sweet. I'm sorry, not sweet at all. Super dry. There is absolutely, I don't find any sweetness in here. It is very dry tobacco, dry leather, dry wood, dry spice, very dry green, nutty cardamom. It's quite nutty. I don't know. Labo has these kind of nutty. Yeah, they have some nutty accords in their perfumes. I find the Queer quite nutty. Queer 28. What else? The Tonka was quite nutty. I don't know. I keep finding these repetitions of nuts in Labo, but anyway, Tabac. I really like this. I don't know if it's worth the money anymore, but or if it ever was. Regardless, though, the fragrance itself, it's big. It's very big. It's very big and warm. It's classic. This feels more classic than it does modern contemporary. It feels very classic. Super leathery, to be honest, and ambery. Okay. Celine Nightclubbing. Nightclubbing is, this would be the cigarettes, the nicotine part of the tobacco. This is soft, warm, irisy, powdery, golden, sweet, a little bit play-doughy, rubbery. But the tobacco, the nicotine in here really does remind me of the stuff in Cristalle. This is, you know, the tobacco in here reminds me of going to the club, coming home, waking up the next day, and picking my shirt up off of the chair or the floor or the closet or the hamper, wherever it was, wherever I threw it the night before, in a drunken state of whatever, wanting to pass out. And I pick this up and I smell it, and it's like, you know, the tobacco, the cigarette, the smoke from the night before. That's what I get in here, is that stale, musky tobacco with iris and vanilla and powder. That's what this is. This is a rock star perfume, I think. I love this stuff. Nightclubbing. I also find tobacco in their Nightclubbing black tie in the base with vanilla. I'm pretty certain it's there. Tobacco, it might not be as prominent as a lot of these others, but it is tobacco and vanilla. All right, and speaking of tobacco vanilla, I think this is safe to say, you know, the queen, the king, the originator, the OG. I mean, we can't leave this out. You can't leave this out, and I know it's been out forever, and it's hard for me to hate on this one, you know. I know it gets a lot of dislike because of its sweetness and it's Christmas cookies and stuff like that, tobacco vanilla spices, but it's the OG. This is the originator. And you know, I've got a really special, I think this was one of my first niche perfumes. I got this for Father's Day, and I'm at about 50%. I'm not sure if you guys can see that, but I've used maybe 45% of this. And I'd agree, this is not something I'd wear every day, but you know, special occasions, let's say Thanksgiving, Christmas would be an amazing time to wear this. The holidays, family, you know, big family events around the holidays, I think this would be amazing for that. And there's still not a lot of things that would beat this. There are a lot of things that would beat it, but I'm smelling so many other things here. But this is so warm and golden and honeyed. It's beautiful. Clove, spicy clove. I'm still a nut about this stuff. You can't, you know, you gotta be a really horrible person to hate this. You don't have to own it or love it, but to hate on this, you gotta have a hole in your heart, man. You gotta have a dark soul. You know, it's so sweet. It's like the golden child of tobacco perfumes. Okay, so here, this is the last one. Not that this is the best one, but this is really, really good. And it's like the cousin, sister, brother, fuck me friend of tobacco, or tobacco vanilla. That's what it's called. Yeah, and this is tobacco oud. Tobacco oud. I mean, it's in the name, tobacco and oud. Very spicy, a bit animalic, a bit, you know, dirty in the opening. Very clovey. Whiskey, booze, amber. But this one's amazing too. Like, just as amazing, maybe even more amazing. Oh, fuck, it's good. It is good. I haven't worn as much of this as I have of tobacco vanille, but this is really good too. This was pretty much love at first sniff for me. Both of these, I love them. So there you go. There's tobacco oud. There's tobacco vanille. And that's all I got for you guys. That's all I got. I wore this quite a bit. I wore this, I think, last night, the night before, 2 nights in a row, 1 day last week. So I'm always, I feel like I've been spraying it a lot the last week. I remember the first time I sprayed this, the first time I tested it, I was at the mall going up the escalator, and I just freshly sprayed it from Holtz or Sephora, wherever it was, and all I can smell was shit. And my person, I was there with somebody, I'm like, do you smell that? Like, this smells fecal, it smells barnyardy, and all I could smell was food. They're like, yeah. And I don't get that anymore. That was my perception at that time. I still find it kind of fecal, dirty, animalic, but not as poopy as that first time. And it was that poopiness that kind of like, woohoo, you know, it really grabbed my attention. So big fan of that, especially when you see something like that in the mainstream, you know, challenging poop. Not, I wouldn't call it challenging anymore, but It was a creative, nonetheless, very creative. I like that, and it's nice to see that in the mainstream. So those are my favorite tobacco perfumes and not so favorite tobacco perfumes. So hope you enjoyed that, and let us know what you enjoy for tobacco in the comments. I'd love to see you guys. So as always, good seeing you, and we will see you very soon. Hope you have a great day. Bye.